Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I'm just here with a journal flip through. I know I haven't been around in a while. It's just I haven't really been that creative, but I do have a journal flip through for you today, and it's of this little just one kind of signature journal that I kept for April and May. And so this is kind of like my little A6 Lovely journals, except I already had this journal made. It's one of the journals that I make in, I think it's one of the signatures that I put together in my snippet journal class where we make this journal. And so I had two signatures in this snippet journal, and I just removed the second one to use this for a completely different project. And so this one I've had just kind of sitting about empty, and so I decided to give it a go and try this size for like my little everyday journals type thing. And I had it in a personal size TN, and yeah, I actually don't really like this size at all. I'm going to share with you briefly at the end a look at my new everyday sort of journal. I call these my lovely journals because they're just everyday journals that I go to just write and document and collage and do some mixed media and stuff like that. And they're kind of like the catch-all. And usually I can fill up one in a 2-month span, usually, because I don't journal in this every day. And so I'm going to show you the new one that I made, which is going back to my little A6 size. So if you recall, I would make these all last year. I kept a whole bunch of these for like every 2 months, and I would just kind of fill them up. I personally love the A6 size. This size is like it's like a personal wide if we're thinking on like traveler's notebook sizes. So it is the same like kind of width as an A6. It's just a little bit taller. So yeah, it's like a personal wide. It's not a personal size. It's more of a personal wide or B6 slim, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. I really do. I enjoyed working in this, but there's just something about the compact little ones that I just really, really love. And so this is kind of, I don't know why I switched it up. I know why. I was too lazy to make a new journal, and I already had this one already made, and I just wanted to fill it up. But yeah, I made myself one of these little ones that I'm going to share. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to come on and give you a flip through of this. It's not anything elaborate or fancy. My cover, so I made this signature in my snippet journals course, and I will leave a link to that down below. But in that course, I primarily teach you how to make one of these snippet journals. And so it's one of these shabby cover journals that I enjoy making. And I also show you how to make two signatures, which are these two, and they're both fabric covered signatures, but you can definitely just use the signature as a journal because it is fabric on one side, and on the inside it's cardstock. And so that's how this one is constructed. And on the front I have just a paper doily, and then these are all snippets. These are all from my snippet roll that I used for the cover of that other journal, and some fabric. And I just layered it. There's some beading happening and some lace here. Same on the back. Has that lace on the inside, just peeking through fabric. And then it's a 5 pamphlet stitched journal. And so the first page here, I just have my introduction. This was about spring and just inviting things in for spring here. And I kind of left this the way it was because I love this wallpaper, and I love this floral. I just kind of put one of these cards to stamp out my dates. All of my journals, all of my little ones that I did last year have the dates stamped out, and it's usually the start date and the finish date. And this is in no really particular order. Like, I did do this on the first, but you can see that I kind of jumped around the 8th and etc. etc. I just journal in here whenever I feel like journaling. And so I think I took myself out on the first, and I just kind of decorated this a little bit and did my journaling on the inside. I think this is a tiered journaling. Here is a library card pocket. I had some receipts because I did a little bit of shopping. I did buy this book at Strand, and I read it that same day, and so I just kind of wrote a little something on the back. I just mounted my photograph on some, I think, yeah, some notebook paper. Yeah, some notebook paper, and then trimmed it and then wrote my journaling there. Library card pocket, stamped my date, and this is just a piece I cut out of a Daphne's Diary magazine. Um, this page was just clippings from a Victoria magazine that I really liked, like passages, and so I just clipped a photograph from that same magazine and then just put the clippings, and this is all about spring because this was, springtime, and I just really liked that, and so it's just a kind of like a little inspiration board thing. This, my friend and I, we went to go see this documentary at a sort of like an indie type theater here in New York City. And I just did a lot of journaling about that because I kind of found this on like a whim. I was actually going through Reddit to see if I find things to do in the city in New York. So I kind of want to leave my house more often and go and do a bunch of things. And so I was just kind of keeping a list, like a running list of things to do, of like just random things to do. And I came across a thread on one of the New York subreddits that I'm in about like, someone was asking if there's like a place where they can go that has like listings of what every independent theater in the city is showing, like what films they're showing, and if there's like a whole like kind of oh my god, what's the word, like an index, of just what's happening in those theaters for like that particular week. There is actually a website. It's called Screen Slate, I believe, and I can just go in there and look up like what all the indie theaters and what all the theaters that show indie films are playing for that particular week. And I ended up on the Film Forum website. Film Forum is a theater downtown that shows sort of these like indie type of films. And I actually stumbled across that on the list because they were showing Some Like It Hot, which is one of my favorite old school films. And I'm like, oh, it would be really cool to see it on a screen, right? And so that they were playing it at Film Forum. And so since I was already on the Film Forum website, I kind of looked through to see what else they were playing. And this popped out because I actually did a paper about Nam June Paik in college for I think it was my new media studies class. That's the first time I've ever like come across him. And I refer to him as he's like the godfather of the modern day music video, or video art, really, because that's what he did, was a lot of video art. And I believe my paper was how his video art was the precursor to MTV and like the music video that we have today. Like without his video art, we probably wouldn't have music videos like we do. And yeah, that was my final paper. And he's just very interesting and his work was very interesting. And so I was like, oh my God, I would go see that. Like I would go see the documentary, and I was actually going to go by myself to see it one night. And then just out of a whim, I decided to reach out to my friend group. We have a chat, and I just kind of put it in the chat and said, hey, is anybody interested in seeing this? I'm thinking about going at this day and this day. Yeah, and my friend John, lovely John, he was like, oh yeah, definitely. So we went to go see it, and like he's like never heard of Nam June Paik, and he was kind of surprised that like I would be into something like this, I guess because he went on the site and watched the trailer, and he's like, okay, Pike was very weird for his time. He was very I guess you would call them visionaries. He was just very different for his time, and he was doing things that people thought were insane and crazy, and he had all these like ideas and stuff, just playing around with all this new media. And I don't think anybody took him seriously when he was live at that time. They thought that his artwork was just junk, right? And then now, so when we know that it wasn't junk, we know that his ideas just were, he was just ahead of his time. That's what it was, right? But he's kind of eclectic and kind of weird like that. And my friend was just like, how did you come across this film? And two, like, I didn't even think that you would be into something like this. And then I had to go on saying, well, I actually did a paper on him in college and blah, blah, blah. And so we went to go see this movie, this documentary, and it was actually really, really good. And I got like more of a glimpse of his life before he kind of fell into the video art, and it was really good. And so I did a lot of journaling about that here. And then I think the next couple of pages are about my birthday. So my birthday is on April 15th. And I didn't do much. I think I just went karaoke with my friends and like hung out with my friends. These balloons are from a Japanese diary magazine. The sticker is from another I think it's one of the stickers from Daphne's Diary as well. I did a lot of journaling, a lot of journaling. So I just kind of spanned like across the like 3 days because I think my birthday was on a weekend. So I just kind of wrote all about that. On the 16th, my friend Andy came over, brought me my gifts. This was like one of those little pick crew me that me and my friends like to do. And this one I did of myself. And it is just totally my vibe. And I absolutely love it. And so I needed to put that in there. This is a card that I tipped in that my friend made for me. And so that's there. A book that I just finished reading at this time, Light is the New Black by Rebecca Campbell. These are my little horoscope thingies, and I think I liked this one. I liked both of them, so I kind of screenshot them. I tend to do this quite often. I bought myself some stuff from Altered State, and so I love their packaging, so I had to put it in here. And then my friend got me these really cute Studio Ghibli file folders that have like writing sets in them, and she got me 2 of them. She got me the Kiki's Delivery Service and the Howl's Moving Castle, and if I can find one, it's this one. This is one of them. I think I have the I have the Howl's Moving Castle stationery in here, but the Kiki's one is like that, and then it comes with the matching envelopes. And I just kind of put both of them in here because it's a folder, and I'm using the other folder to actually have like journaling stuff in. There's a My Neighbor Totoro one, and I really want to get that one. And I think she got these off of Jet Pens because you can find them on Jet Pens. They're so stinking cute, and I want the other one so that I can have like a complete set. But I had to peel off the stickers and put them in my journal because, you know, packaging. So while I've been collecting things to do, like events and stuff that I would want to do in the city. I think I'm gonna do a separate video about this, but I've been keeping a jar that has little artist dates and just things for me to do in and about my city. And one of the things that I found was this thing called Skip the Small Talk. And it's basically an event. It happens in different cities around the United States. It originated in Boston, but they have branches everywhere. I think it's international too. You just have to go on the Skip the Small Talk website and look to see if they have one in your city. But it's basically an event that you go to wherever they're holding it at, and you go there and you speak to strangers for 2 hours. For 2 hours, and it's like they give you prompts. So you pair off with somebody for 10 minutes and they give you prompts. Sometimes the host will give you like an initial prompt. They'll like say whatever the initial prompt is, and then you speak for 10 minutes with your partner and you both answer that prompt, and then you switch and you find a different partner, and then when you find your second partner and your third partner, your fourth partner, etc., you have these little cards. There'll be cards on the table that have prompts. And all of these prompts are those sorts of questions that are more personal, more kind of in depth. So you're basically like skipping the small talk, like, hey, how's the weather? How are you doing? All this stuff. You're kind of skipping all of that preliminary things and like talking about, what was a moment in your life that you were just in pure awe? Like you're going into like the meaty good stuff. And they really encourage you to kind of speak and share. And like, it's funny too, because they do a poll like after like the first conversation, and they ask, did you feel like you shared enough? Did you feel like you didn't share enough? Did you feel like you overshared? Did you want your partner to share more, et cetera, et cetera? And consensus is that most people want you to overshare. They want you to share a lot, and sort of with substance, right? The conversations are of substance. That's why it's called Skip the Small Talk. And so I bravely went to one. And okay, so the thing that I want to do with these little events that I've been curating for myself is that, I'm calling them artist dates. I'm taking that from Julia Cameron's The Artist Way. And the whole thing is that it'll just like I have a jar and I have all these little things that I would want to do. And some of them are things that I enjoy doing all the time. And then there are things that I've been wanting to do, but just haven't had the time to do it, or things that I've been wanting to do that seem really cool in the city, but that like scare me to do. And the challenge is to do all these things by myself. Sometimes there might be a pass. I have a couple of like things like events and stuff that I've highlighted, and those are the ones that are like are passes, meaning I can skip that one and not do it, or I can invite someone to do that with me. But for the most part, I've been challenging myself to get out by myself and do these things. And so I did my first skip the small talk here. Of course, I had to keep my little name sticker. They ask you to write your name, your pronouns, and they usually ask you a question and you write the answer to the question here. And so I believe the question is, what's a fictional character that you would want to be friends with? The friendly neighborhood. This is my receipt from the venue. It was a pub that this was held at. And then these I'm not going to show because they are people's names that I met at Skip the Small Talk, and their phone numbers and stuff like that. But yeah, this is a really cool event if you're brave enough to do that. Definitely gets, I'm pretty sure a lot of you are introverts, and it definitely gets you out of that shell, And honestly, it wasn't so bad. As of now, I've done 2 of them, and I'm a lot less nervous than I was in the first one. So yeah. So that's journaling all of this. And over here, it was just a blank space. So I had recently taken this selfie for my unraveling journal. So I just printed out another one and put it in here. Then this day, my friend John and I, we went to go see Allie and AJ on their With Love From tour. And so I just kind of printed out the poster here and did my journaling. He also gave me my birthday present. He didn't bring it on my birthday because we were karaokeing and stuff. And so this is the card that I had to like trim down quite a bit to get it to fit in here because I really wanted it to fit in here. And so I had to trim it down a bit. And yeah, I believe this was the start of Messy May, which I was hoping to do, and I didn't do. I did like the first 2 prompts, but I didn't even finish it. Like, I think this was the expand prompt, and I was supposed to do journaling and all the things, but I didn't. I just drew this girl and decoupage some of this floral and like this. This was supposed to have journaling, like brain dump journaling, and that was the prompt. And yeah, it just didn't happen. Didn't happen. So this is unfinished, but I think I'm just going to leave it like this. This is May the 4th. I do Tangi Baxter. She is the woman that does Art Journaling the Magic. I've done a couple of Art Journaling the Magic workshops, but every May 4th, she does like a free Zoom party for like 2 hours, and we draw Star Wars themed things. And so on the other side of this expanded thing, I just put all the little drawings that I did on that night. Some of it's not finished, like my boba tea is not finished. I have to actually color this in better and put the like color in the boba and like all the things. And I was gonna have journaling here and I just didn't do it, but I ended up drawing my things on, I think, drawing or watercolor paper, and then fussy cutting them out, and then painting this background and painting this, and then gluing all the things in. And so it's not finished. This is another thing that's not finished. But yeah, I think she invites a bunch of different artists to do little mini lessons. And I don't think I did. I know Tangi did this lesson, the boba tea, and I know April Gleason did like these cookies of this guy, Java, and Leia. And I didn't do the cookie, I just kind of drew them out. And then I kind of went through the archives of all the May the 4th classes and did some, I forgot who did the robots. I did BB-8. This was, I think, Tangi had this a previous year on Ewok. And so I just kind of did my own little thing while we hung out in the Zoom call, but it's not finished. I did go in and do journaling about that on here. But even my Leia is not finished. Like, just the little drawings are not finished. It's just, I find that when I draw, it, oh my God, it takes me a really long time. I'm a very slow artist when it comes to drawing. It just takes me so much time, and like I lately don't have that much time. But so this is not finished, but it's very cool that it's in here. Okay, I remember these. Okay, so if I backtrack, I believe some of this journaling was talking about my uncle. He's actually my great uncle. He's my dad's uncle. He had passed away, and so we had family coming from all over, and this was his funeral wake situation, and it spanned it this weekend. And then the day that they were going to bury him, my great great aunt, so my great uncle's aunt, pretty much, she passed away. And so this is her little card. I don't think my uncle had one of these made, or maybe I just missed it, but I have that here, and I have and I have the journaling for that. So it was kind of like back to back, just, and the same side of the family. So this is my dad's side of the family. That was his uncle, and this is his great aunt. And it was just back to back, and it was crazy how it happened. So that's just a lot of this talking about family that, we got to see again. Yeah. I think this weekend, this particular day, I did take myself out. I bought way too many books at Strand, which is why I have the bookmarks here. And then these are the books that I bought. This is actually the stack of poetry books that I've been collecting. I think one of them on the top here was the book that I bought that first weekend in April. I also bought that from Strand. So yeah, I'm just like forbidden to going into Strand and buying books. I think that previous weekend I bought that poetry book and 2 other books from Barnes and Nobles. It's just bad. I just can't go in. Like, I've stopped buying craft supplies, but I've kind of replaced them with books and clothing and like home decor, and like I'm just banned from buying art, craft supplies, books, clothing, and home decor. But yeah, I just kind of journaled that, took myself out, did some shopping. I think this is the day that I took myself to Central Park, and I just brought my journals with me, and I caught up on all of my journaling. And yeah, the next day I did another skip the small talk at this location. These are more phone numbers, and then this is my little sticker, my name, my pronouns. And then the question for this day was, what's your favorite thing about New York City? I have a love-hate relationship with New York City. You all know that if you've been around long enough on this channel. And so I ended up writing that it's filled with memories of people that I love who aren't here anymore. And that can mean so many things. It could mean people who are really no longer here anymore, they've passed away or they've moved away, and just cities filled with a lot of memories. Some memories that I cannot forget, really. And so that, I think it's funny too, because it's kind of bittersweet, right? It's a bittersweet thought, but it's probably one of my favorite things about the city is that I have memories. And memories that are just unique to me too. And so this was another successful skip the small talk. And I do want to do another one. So these 2 locations were in Manhattan, but there's a location that I want to do in Brooklyn. As I'm filming this, it's a Saturday. Tomorrow, the Sunday of this weekend, there is a skip the small talk in Brooklyn. And so I may go to that. We'll see. I finished another poetry book. This was Noor Unahar's Yesterday I Was the Moon. Been wanting to read this since it pretty much came out, and never got it. Bought it at Strand that day, so I read it. And I think I journal about that here. I think I journal about, I've been apartment hunting too, so that's a lot of this journaling is about that. Another one of those screenshots of my phone with the horoscope thingies. More journaling. I think this day is when my mom came with me to Industry City. There's a place in Brooklyn called Industry City. It's kind of like a warehouse sort of structure with just a bunch of different stores in it and stuff like that. And the main section that I like to go to is the Japan Village, and it's kind of like street food. Like, they have like a street food kind of food court, Japanese street food, and then the little Japanese market, and there's a huge Daiso there, and so that's why I wanted to go to the Daiso. I actually got this washi at Daiso that day, but my mom came with me, and so that was a fun day out with her. And then this is just more journaling, I think, of just, I don't even know what happened this day. More journaling, but I did order like a bundle of, actually I have a picture here somewhere. A bundle, these bundles of antique linens from an Etsy seller, and this is the little note that she left in my package, so I had to glue it there. And then this was about, did I take myself out? Oh, My mom, my brother, and I, we went to a pizzeria, like an Italian pizzeria in our neighborhood. That's the receipt. This is journaling about that. And then the next day, my friend Jules and I went to this place called Oscar Wilde, another place that I found in my whole Reddit looking for things to do search. It is a restaurant bar, and it's themed to Oscar Wilde's picture of Dorian Gray. And it's very Victorian. There's a lot of vintage antique furniture and decor in here. And I just wanted to go and either do brunch, afternoon tea, or dinner. And I reached out to my friend group and was like, hey, I want to do this. Is anybody interested in doing it? And quite a few of them were interested. My friend Jules was interested in brunch, but more specifically afternoon tea, and like nobody else wanted to do that with us. So we went and did afternoon tea at Oscar Wilde. This is the tea that I drank. Actually, they drank this as well. So we both drank that tea, our receipt, a picture of us with our tea and our creme brulee and like our little snack tier, some journaling about that. And then I have a bunch of pictures here of just things that I took. The place was really, really dark. I feel like it would have, tea was cool. It was really expensive for New York. I mean, everything's expensive, but the place was just stunning, stunning. And like, my phone is so old that it doesn't capture the beauty of it, but this would be a really good, cool place for like dinner and like late night. They do have a live DJ, and the bar is really cute. When we went, it was all decorated. It was decorated in like an Alice in Wonderland theme. Yeah, so it's just a journaling and some photographs, and it was a really, really nice afternoon tea. I do want to go back and do dinner though. Definitely want to do dinner. I believe here I'm just journaling about starting this project. So I'm gonna actually show you the result of this project because I finished. Again, I bought a bunch of antique linens. I did go to Michael's and buy a bunch of embroidery thread, oh my god, and beads. I believe this is the day that I went to meet one of the people that I met at the Small Talk, and we went, or maybe that was a few days previous. It was this day actually, and afterwards I went to Michael's to get supplies. But I did this, I didn't do it, I just kind of watched the videos for this free like week-long creative thing about stitching. I think it was called Making Zen, and it was a different like stitching videos, and a lot of it revolved around meditative stitching and slow stitching and stuff like that. And so I really wanted to do a project like that. And so this is me talking about prepping that project. If you caught this on my Instagram, I had started a slow stitch piece here. And I think that was the last entry in my journal, but kind of want to give you a peek at my slow stitch. So it was, like a piece of fabric that I just slow stitch a bunch of other fabrics on top, did some embroidery, added some beads and stuff like that. But I did end up making it into my new journal. So this is my new lovely journal. So I'm going from this one to this one. It's A6. And this was my slow stitch piece. And it's so pretty. It's so textile. I absolutely love the color. It's very like, it's blue and green. It looks like sea glass. And so it's going to be my June, July journal. And oh my God, it took me like a week to stitch all this together. There's some beading here happening. And yeah, it's completely hand stitched. The only thing that's not hand stitched is when I actually made it into the journal. That's all machine stitched, but the actual piece is all hand stitched, and it took me a good week to finish it. I caught up on a lot of my YouTube videos. I had a whole bunch of February and June, a bunch of Lydia's videos to watch, and so I just kind of put her on and slow stitched. I absolutely love it. I have a whole thing here for my next one. So my next one is going to be with these antique linens. And then I'm going to go through my stash and pick out some fabric pieces that match, because I'm pretty sure I have some like pinkish floral fabric pieces that would definitely match these linens. And then I have my floss here. I just need to pick out the scraps, like these little type of pieces of scraps that I use throughout. And I need to pick out some beads and some lace. And this is going to be my next slow stitch. And I'm going to make it into another one of these little journals, but that is a project. And like my goal is to make like a series of them. And I know before any of you ask, I'm not planning to sell these unless I kind of get into a flow and can kind of produce them in quantity, and I'm willing to sell the ones that I've made, like once I make them into journals, but that is not my intention for doing this right now. It's just more of another way for me to get creative, because I just have not, I mean, my absence says a lot, right? I just haven't been creative in the way that I wanted to be. And so starting something new like this has been really fun. And it's so meditative too. And so I want to try a different color scheme. And then I need to get some purple-ish linens, because I would love to do like a purple one as well. But this is my new journal, and just a bunch of papers. A lot of them are from Daphne's Diary magazines and stuff. And I'm hoping to start on this soon. And so that was my journal here for April and May. I really hope you enjoyed this little flip through of this journal. And yeah, thank you so much for watching like always, and I will see you in the next video, whenever that will be. I think I have another video planned, but yeah, whenever that goes up. Anyway, thank you so much, friends, and I will see you all next time.